Britain's Roswell. None of them is Britain's Roswell.
Well, rather, but that's what they're saying.
Okay,
They say,
it's the Berwyn Mountain incident. And
it's Britain's Roswell, Sacha.
Isn't Britain's Roswell.
It's Britain's Roswell, and I've got exclusive right to it, Christie.
How is it? Topping, wind your neck in.
Well,
We've got two Britain's Roswell. Two. We've got Rendlesham Forest. It's always referred to as Britain's Roswell.
That's American Roswell, isn't it, that one?
No, it's not. It happens on British soil.
I know. But I'm having a bit of fun with you, Sacha. I don't actually know, in all honesty, to be fair to you, Sacha. I don't know. Well, it was a media phrase that they coined, wasn't it? Britain's
rack off, America. It's ours.
It's ours, exactly. What happened was, the starter behind this is that Andy Roberts, a researcher in the UK, was due to give a lecture. And basically, Andy seemingly has lumped all the research together and then said, oh, it's an aircraft crash that happened in 1981. What is interesting about what happened to me about this is the fact that at short notice, i.e. a Sunday night, I get a phone call to say, I've never met Andy Roberts, so I don't, Sacha maybe knows more about him than I do. Got a phone call to say, oh, he dropped out. Do you know anything about the Berwyn Mountains incident? No. Right, well, we need someone, we're in lumber. So in 2 days later, 24 pages of notes, about 30 slides, we'd got the presentation done in 2 days, and I deserved a medal for it, I felt, anyway, and I got a medal for it. But anyway, point being, does the lecture, and I'm talking about what happened, which perhaps we can go into, but what I observed was the following. The organizer came up to me and said, whispered, there's some people from the town of Berwyn who just want to, I think it was Corwin, isn't it? Corwin, wherever it was, anyway. Basically, they want to just get up and have a chat about it, you know. So I just casually said, does anybody want to stand up and talk about this incident? Is any locals about who knew what was going on? And this woman, and it took her tremendous courage, we had to turn the cameras off for her, and this woman stood up and proceeded to tell a horror story of what happened that night that was not reported. And basically, the Berwyn Mountains incident is about a UFO, so it is alleged, or even a meteor, so it is alleged, crashing into the side of a mountain. There was a key witness involved, somebody called Anne Williams, and she was hounded, absolutely hounded by UFO researchers wanting exclusive rights to a story.
Why did they just claim them? It's mine!
Why didn't they just claim them? And the poor lady had to move away to Spain, as I understand it. She rang the emergency services because there was this almighty bang that did a 4.5 Richter scale job. And anyway, she rang the emergency service. She said, I'm a nurse. Can I help? And the emergency services said, well, we don't really know. Have a drive around and see what you can see. What happened was...
this story before.
Correct. And what happens is she goes 5 miles down this road and sees what she describes as a UFO on the side of the mountain, but the search teams, i.e. the military, which we'll come to in a moment, and the police, are actually 5 miles in the opposite direction at the wrong place. So she gets hounded by that. But this woman proceeded to stand up in front of everyone and tell this horror story of the children in the village, some of her friends' children, who saw this bright light very silently come in and fly past them. They were out playing at the time. And all of a sudden, after it passed them, they'd got burns. This was not reported in the main kind of stream of what was going on with witnesses and even the current story today. And they'd got burns on them, and so they were taken to the doctors or the hospital or whatever, and it was reported, so this woman was saying, that they had been subjected to some type of laser burn, something that would be a radiation that would give off the equivalent of a laser burn, it was just fascinating to hear her account. Then there was the fireman who lived in the village on the night of the UFO incident, and he was a fireman for 17 years, and he was saying that the fire brigade never got called. But the issue being was that they'd been hounded by UFO researchers about their story. Their stories were not they'd not told UFO researchers anything about what had happened here, but they were clearly traumatized by what had happened to them. And had it not been for myself turning off the cameras, and perhaps as a member of the audience pointed out, if the cynical Andy Roberts had been there, they'd have never got up to speak in the first place. But the point being, as Sacha has rightly said, that these people are in a position of trust with a UFO researcher, and you could have easily switched on the camera and claimed exclusive rights to what they're saying and heralded it as the new thing to do with it. Yeah, the scoop of the century. But you could clearly see woman was absolutely traumatised by what had happened to her. The townsfolk who were with her, there was about 3 more people with her, and the firemen, they were still traumatised to this day, trying to find answers as to what had gone on with them. And it just beggars belief what goes on with UFO researchers. It really does. And they were saying that the town had been hounded. This woman said who she was, where she was, and how she knew what she knew, and confidentiality. She wanted complete confidentiality, which I respect. But as you have said, Sacha, isn't it? Yeah, as you have said, Sacha, it is not respected, though, is it?
No.
No, it isn't. Not at all.
The interesting thing is that my encounter, well, there were just a cap